if you wanted to be perfectly honest with me, you would have told me this last night. You would have told me this even this morning before.
Say she look into my eyes and she seen designer.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Nelly V, back at it again with another Married at First Sight video. We are on episode 4. Y'all, okay. This week though, it wasn't as bad as last week. Like last week, there was a lot of emotional ups and downs for me. I felt like this episode was a little bit more mellow. I don't know about y'all, but it feels like the season is dragging. Like this week's episode, for example, they started like at the night of their wedding again, and then like took us through their whole first morning, took us to the brunch. I'm like, I thought we were gonna get a little bit more of the honeymoon, but you know, we're slowly inching on by. Where do I want to start today? Let's start with Ryan and Clara, okay? We're gonna start with Ryan and Clara. So like I said, we started with the couple's, first night / first morning together. We learned that, Clara, she a little bit too active for me. The girl is a sleepwalker, sleep talker. Like the man can't even rest peacefully at night. And you already kept him up talking so much with her long-winded answers and everything. I'm just like, ooh. And then Ryan is like, oh, I appreciate my quiet time. I'm like, you're not going to get much of it with Clara. So during their first breakfast together, they're kind of prepping each other on how, their parents are. And we find out that Ryan's parents are ministers. And Clara went to Bible college for a year, dropped out and has not been back in church. And she said she doesn't believe in organized religion. So I don't know how that's gonna look long term. I don't know if it's a deal breaker so much for Ryan, because he was like, oh well, nobody's perfect type thing. He kind of just played it off. When Clara was in front of his parents, they were making references to God and saying all this stuff, and she was just kind of like, like she didn't really, tell them, obviously she didn't want to scare them probably, but she just kind of played it cool. So I don't know if she's just not into organized religion, but she still believes in the spiritual aspect of, God and everything. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. But Ryan, I need a little bit more from him. I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like Clara's personality is overtaking the relationship. I want to see a little bit more of him. I feel like he has a very much the mentality of happy wife, happy life. He kind of just goes with the flow with whatever she says. Even the producers, when they find out that they're going on their honeymoon, the producers I guess they ask him what's the first thing you're gonna do in Vegas? And he's like, we're gonna do whatever Clara wants to do. And I'm just like, I guess that's cool, that's fine, but I need a little bit more from him. I just need a little bit more from him. And she expressed that she wanted the guy to, be more of the leader and stuff, but she's not really backing off to let him lead. But again, I think it's still too early to tell. I really want to see them on the honeymoon, because the honeymoon is where you have those tough conversations and you kind of figure everybody out. So I'm anxious to see how they're going to interact on the honeymoon. Again, I still can't tell if Ryan is really, really attracted to her. He hasn't said anything super affirming to her or to the producers, backstage in the interviews. So yeah, but we'll see if, sparks fly during the honeymoon and, if a connection grows. All right, next we have Brincent, aka Briana and Vincent. I'm starting to really like them together. I am. I know I wasn't really for them in the beginning. If you watched my very first video with this season, I was I wanted Vincent to be with Paige actually. But, it's growing on me. It is. But the reason why I wasn't for this pair was because of Briana. And I still have my reservations about Briana, because I just feel like she, I don't know, let me bring some examples. So the morning after, Vincent is trying to get her number, because he married a stranger, he needs her number, and he makes a little joke. He's like, oh girl, what your number is, or something like that, a little joke. And she's like, no, you better ask me correctly. And I'm like, girl, you're doing too much. Like, I think she meant it as a joke too, but it just made me cringe. I'm like, you don't gotta, I feel like the bossiness is already coming out too early, and that's my only thing about her. But he seems very playful and very patient, so maybe I'm just being too hard on her. So we'll just see about that. Then then Briana and Vincent go to brunch with each other's families, and Briana finds out that Vincent is a bit of a workaholic, and she wasn't really pleased with that. She said something like, oh, like, work can wait. And I mean, I agree with her, but I'm also like, he's an entrepreneur. He is gonna have to, be working on weekends, and, it's all on him. Like, he doesn't have, the convenience of being able to, like, clock in, clock out. He gotta build his brand, build his business, build his clientele. And I just hope that, again, she doesn't, like, be too naggy about it, because Vincent has already expressed that he needs somebody to support him through his business endeavors and things like that. And Briana said that she was very adamant about wanting somebody that was financially secure, somebody that was gonna make more money than her. So you're gonna need to let this man work so he can provide for you guys, So, but I do think that he is gonna make time, like, because as much as he likes to work, I feel like he's still very family oriented, and he's going to, prioritize spending time with Briana and stuff like that. So we'll just see how that plays out in their relationship. At the end of the episode, they get ready to go to their honeymoon. They make it to Vegas, and Vincent finds out that his grandmother suffered a heart attack, and it was really sad. Obviously he's visibly upset and everything. And I think that Briana did a good job of just, like, really caring for him. He said, like, oh, I'm sorry, I feel so bad, I'm ruining everything, and they're gonna let me know if I have to fly back. And Briana, she was like, it's not ruin everything, like, if we have to go back, then we have to go back. Like, Vincent was saying I, and Briana was saying we, and I was like, yes, I love that, that's good. I mean, he was really impressed by that, even though I'm still like, I mean, if she had any other reaction than the reaction she had, I would have been like, the girl is heartless, like, so again, I don't want, yes, she was supportive through this, but this is pretty easy to be supportive of. So let's see how she supports her business. Let's see how, how the other dynamics of their relationship unfold. So yes, that's Brincent. I also wrote down, like, when Vincent was like, I'll do whatever it takes to protect her. He's just so cute. He's just so cute. Okay, so next we have Virginia and Erik. I really liked the way that Erik told Virginia he had been previously married. He eased her into it, and he was just, it was very classy, very tasteful. Erik is a classy dude, unlike the way Chris told Paige how he was just out here in the streets. Erik really eased Virginia's mind about it, and she didn't really seem that alarmed because, again, it's 3 years ago. But, it just in case she is a child of divorce, she could have had a more violent reaction, but she didn't. So, and, they got to have that nice, first night together, getting to know one another. And you see that they're initially both really attracted to one another. And then he eased her, way into the news. So I think that's the way to do it. Brunch with each other's families went pretty well. The first thing Virginia asked Erik's mom is, does Erik ever get wild? Sis, his friends already told you he's not that type of guy, okay? Like, he's not gonna be out in the clubs with you. What if his friends said that? What, his mama gonna say that too? Like, come on now. Like, what kind of answer were you expecting? So I'm just like, come on, girl. Like, give it a break. After the brunch with each other's families, Virginia asked Erik, does it bother you that I'm still, like, in that partying phase? I'm 26, you're 34, how we're gonna navigate that. And Erik was like, I'm cool with it as long as it doesn't affect our relationship. And, you know, because I'm holding you to the fact that you wanted to get married. So, you know, I think we're going to be fine. So Erik has hope that it could still work out. I don't know though. Like, I really don't know. And I just feel so bad because Erik is just such a sweet guy. Even when he was talking to Virginia's parents, he was like, you know, I want her to know that divorce is not an option for me. Like, I'm really serious. And I'm just like, wow. But I just think the differences, the lifestyle differences is really gonna test them. Granted, if Virginia can just sit down, because one thing that Erik's mom said is that he's gonna be gone like maybe 4 days out of the week. So if she can just go out in those 3 days and she could just sit down in the house with Erik on those 4 days, maybe they can make it work. But the girl already said, I'm not gonna stop drinking, I'm not gonna stop being, you know, the life of the party, he's gonna have to accept me as I am. Like, she said, I'm not changing. So we'll just see. Another thing that was an issue was that Virginia basically said she was 50-50 on kids, and Erik was like, I want kids. And Virginia was like, yeah, not for a couple of years. Again, these experts. Like, I need to see these people's applications. Like, why? This girl is clearly not ready to settle down. And Erik is like, I just want to have a quiet life, you know, watch a couple movies and have some kids. Like, it just does not make sense. The man is such a dad. Did y'all hear him when he was like, oh, I used to get down back in the day. Like, in college, I had some times. He already sounds like a dad, you know? I don't know. I'm really beginning to think, and I thought this, you know, a couple episodes back, but I don't know if I said it in one of my videos. I feel like Erik should have been with Haley. I don't know if they would have been physically attracted to one another, but I think that Haley is still like, she's still fun and she's still social. And I think that's more of Erik's speed. But instead they want to put him with this college girl who still very much thinks like she's 21. So I don't know, man. Again, I love Erik and I really want this to work for him. So Virginia, get your act together. I almost forgot. So they make it to the honeymoon, or they make it to the hotel of their honeymoon, and Erik is trying to see, you know, the scenery. He's trying to, you know, see how the room is looking, blah, blah, blah. Virginia is trying to take some shots. She goes straight to the mini bar. I'm like, girl, calm down. Everybody else is winding down, getting ready for bed, all the other couples, and you trying to get turned up. And your man is not even on that type of energy at all. So anyways, they end up compromising with, you know, let's just do some champagne, you know, take a toast. I'm like, Erik, you could tell Erik, he looked a little annoyed. But again, he kind of just laughed it off. But to me, I'm just like, you told her, like, you know, it's all about you. He was like, it's your first time in Vegas. We're going to, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, she is going to take it to the next level. Okay. She is going to get turned up and you're not even prepared for that. So it's going to be a point of contention for them. Like, I just don't see it working out any other way. So, whew, Lord. All right. So Haley and Jacob. This, y'all, they played Haley. They really did. Because Jacob, the man has 3 conversation topics, okay? His house, his diet, and his workouts. That's the only thing the man talk about. Oh, sorry. His house, I'm going to put his diet and his workout together and the 80s. That's the only thing the man talks about. Like, it's crazy. And I'm like, you're not even trying to ask her about her or find out about her. Like, the man is talking. I'm like, yo, she is, and her expressions is written all over her face. She's trying to be like, but you can tell she's not with it. And again, he's doing, like, he's coming on way too strong because it's overwhelming her. We pick up with them the morning after the wedding. And Jacob is like, you know, how you feel, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe Haley's like, how do you feel? And Jacob is like, oh, I think the experts did a great job. Haley's like, they did all right. Y'all, she was like, don't get ahead of yourself now. You got too much dip on your chip, okay?
Whoa, brother, whoa. Now, You got too much dip on your chip.
I said they did an all right job, okay? So that was just so funny to me because you can already tell she's just not with it. Jacob said he's not a verbally expressive person. And I'm like, but you seem to be verbally expressing yourself the whole time. Like, you keep talking about the same conversations. You keep bringing up this steak and eggs. You keep, you are verbally expressing yourself. You're just not saying the right things. You're not asking the right questions. So, yeah. So then they go to, brunch with each other's families. And even Haley's family, the expressions, they have the same expressions as Haley, which I thought was so funny watching, because the brother is like, because there Jacob goes again, talking about his house, like he didn't tell them last night at the wedding about his house. Are you that old that you can't remember that you already told them about this? Like, what's going on here, for real? Like, and it's like, come on, give us something to work with. Like, how are you gonna take care of their daughter? Just something, anything, So then they go back to the room. They're talking, and they're preparing for the honeymoon. And he has all his little graphic tees. I'm like, 38 years old, are you still wearing graphic tees? No. And Haley is like, yeah, he loves his graphic tees. I'm like, yeah, she was being shady at this point. She is not impressed by him. She is not impressed by him, okay? Jacob makes a comment, though, that I thought was interesting. He says, you would have swiped left on me, but instead you married me. And Haley's like, that joke got a little bit too real for her, because she didn't even react, because it's like, dang, would I pick you in real life? And I think that's the question that she's having with herself, because the man is boring. He's a little boring, and he's, set in his ways. He's 38, but this is not her speed. Like, this is not her speed. So, yeah, and I think Jacob making that comment shows that he's a little conscious. Like, he can tell they're kind of off to a rough start, and he's trying to lighten the mood, but it's not working out for him. I don't know. They did show, like, during their night together, or they didn't show, but you heard Jacob was like, oh, let me just get a kiss, so I think they're kind of, trying to move towards the physical aspect. The only positive things that Haley has said up to this point are, last week she said he's quirky. This week she said nice guy, mellow, even keeled, whatever that means. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, maybe the honeymoon, sparks will fly. Maybe they'll, do some activities. But for now, it's looking like a yike. It's looking like a yike. All right, last couple, you already know, Paige and Chris. This emotionally exhausting couple of the season. Okay, so number one, I'm going to say I don't appreciate the producers, because in the beginning, they show Chris, he's like, I'm growing an attraction to Paige. And then the episode takes a whole 180, and we learn, like, it unravels before us. So I'm like, he obviously is not growing an attraction to her, and he was just saying that, or, whatever they asked him to prompt him to say that, it obviously wasn't true. And I mean, I guess, we're going to talk about the events that transpired, but still, I'm just like, stop showing that interview, because it's a lie. Like, it's a lie. So here's the rundown. Morning after the wedding, this man goes MIA. Paige is disheveled, just in distress, because she doesn't know where he is, because the man said he was going to go get breakfast and never came back. He finally comes back to the room, and Chris is like, I had a panic attack, the dramatics. Not to say that, that's not something that should be taken seriously, but I just don't like him. There, I said it. So anyways, he is like, I had a panic attack. Paige is like, well, what's troubling you? What's going on? She tries to hold his hand, tries to, be a good, partner. And Chris is like, he finally tells her, I'm not attracted to you. Now, Paige is even more confused, because they ended up consummating their marriage the night before and this morning. So she's like, why would he do that, you know, if he wasn't attracted to me? And she even says, if he hadn't touched me, he hadn't kissed me, he hadn't done anything, I could have been at peace with that. But it's like, why would you do that? And it's like, that is such, like, that is so trifling. That is just so trifling. Like, you had the upper hand. You knew that she was attracted to you. And Paige was obviously feeling it, because that's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to, you know, they're both adults. She obviously, you know, it was a consensual thing, but you knew how you were feeling, and that's wrong, because you took advantage of that. And that's what I don't like. It just honestly disgusts me, because then Chris want to be like, you know, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, you weren't perfectly honest with me, because if you were perfectly honest with me, and he says that a lot, I don't know if y'all catch that. He's always like, to be perfectly honest with you. If you wanted to be perfectly honest with me, you would have told me this last night. You would have told me this even this morning before we consummated the marriage again. I'm gonna, maybe the first time, you know, because he ended up saying his excuse was like, he wanted to build the attraction. He wanted to feel the closeness to his wife. And that's where I'm just like, the man, these people, they don't know what they're talking about. Because if Chris is as God-fearing as he says he is, you would know, as you talked with your pastor, sex confuses things. You guys don't have a relationship. And even if, let's say, you did feel a little bit more attracted to her after sex, that is really just lust. You're not really getting to know her mind. You're not really getting to know her spirit. So it's like, I don't know what you were expecting. You were just thinking with your, you know, your body parts. You were not thinking with your brain, okay? And to, you know, have given yourself to him and then be blindsided with this information, like, Chris is really trash for that, y'all. Like, that was very trifling, like, really trifling for real. So anyways, so then brunch with their families. And then I don't know if y'all noticed, we never saw, like, Chris go to brunch with Paige's family. That was the only person that did not go to lunch, or we didn't see anyways. So I'm like, you know, the producers are slick. Again, they're trying to push a narrative. I don't know what the motive is yet, but we didn't see Paige's family get to fill out Chris, because I really need to know how Paige's parents feel about this man that is her new husband. But anyways, so Paige goes to brunch with Chris's family, and she confides in his parents and his aunt that was there about what happened. Now, if it was me, I wouldn't have done that, because, like, I would be confiding in my own family, because clearly Chris's family cannot be trusted, okay? But she chose to, you know, air him out and be like, tell me, is this the kind of man, is this the kind of son y'all know? Because I'm very confused. And of course, Chris's family defends him, you know, typical. I mean, they take his side. The mother even has the audacity to be like, well, did he have a drink? I'm like, are y'all okay? Like, the whole family at this point, throw the whole family away. Throw Chris away, throw his daddy away, throw the mama away, throw the aunt away. They basically minimalized her feelings, made her feel like, you know, she was crazy. They were like, well, you know, you're beautiful. We really like you. Like, you know, just write it out. I'm like, no, that is not good advice. That is not good advice. And then Chris's creepy dad has the audacity to be like, yeah, I mean, you know, again, they're speechless. They have nothing to say to defend Chris, and they just keep, you know, praising Paige. And he's just like, well, I mean, you're beautiful to me. Like, is that supposed to make me feel better? Like, no, okay? Oh, and then he has the audacity to be like, well, I'm just, you know, I'm disappointed, but I'm happy that I have a son that, you know, was upfront with her and wasn't deceptive. He wasn't upfront with her, and he was deceptive, because he told her this after the fact, okay? So you don't need to be proud of your son, okay? He didn't do anything that you should be proud of. Okay, so then Chris's family confronts, you know, Chris about everything. And, you know, Chris is like, again, gives that lame excuse, like, I was just trying to, you know, find the attraction. He even admits that he's dated people in the past that he hasn't been attracted to. And I'm just like, again, that's very strange, very weird. But we can't trust this man's decision-making skills, obviously, at this point. So I would expect him to say something baffling like that. So yeah. So then we go back to the hotel, or, you know, Paige and Chris's hotel room. And Chris, again, he flips it all on her. He's such a drama queen. Like, he's like, oh, I'm from Chicago. We don't do this type of thing. There's a certain type of code we live by. You don't disrespect nobody's parents. You don't disrespect nobody's spouse. You don't disrespect nobody's kids. That's just where I'm from. That's how we live. She didn't disrespect you, okay? You disrespected her. And even when they were having that conversation, Paige is trying to, you know, express, like, I am the one who feels disrespected. Y'all seen that TikTok? I'm gonna need to find that TikTok. When he's like, it's disrespectful, and it's like, to you. It's disrespectful.
Because it's disrespectful. To you. It is disrespectful
To
for
you.
one woman. Red.
To you.
It is disrespectful.
To you.
It is... First of all, it's disrespectful in general.
To you.
To you. That was Paige and Chris. Like, she's trying to explain how she feels, and he just is like mad that his business is in the streets. You're not mad. You're not sorry that you did it. You're just sorry that your family found out, you know? And it's like, it's that type of, you know, behavior that is just unacceptable for me. Like, it's trash. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. She was trying to look for some support. Again, if I was her, I would have found it in my own family. But again, she didn't, whatever. And she was just trying to figure out what was going on. And I get it. You know, Chris was like, you know, I just, you know, don't want my personal, you know, sex life with my parents and everything. And I don't want you talking about it with people. I get that. He said he felt violated. He felt like the trust was betrayed. But did you take time to figure out how Paige was feeling? Did you take the time to see how your words affected her? You know, instead of just like, you just dropped this bomb on her and didn't, you know, emotionally support her through that. So what was she supposed to do, you know? And again, these two are, you know, two grown consenting adults. But I can't help but think, if Paige's friends would have told Paige how Chris was speaking about her, what he said, you know, if this would have happened, you know, if they would have been more upfront about how he felt about her, like how he was saying she's not a trophy wife, how, you know, I dated girls opposite of Paige, and, you know, I'm used to this, pretty girls and this and that, all the disclaimers he was making about her beauty, you know, because I think Paige in her gut from the wedding was like, I feel disconnected to him. I think that, like, she was probably looking for that connectedness, and she probably wants to feel close with him too. And she said that she was open to sleeping with her husband on the first night. You know, she said that when she was talking to the other brides about, you know, they were bringing lingerie on their honeymoon and things like that. So we know that Paige is open to this, but it's like, you know, y'all got married in a different type of way. And yes, y'all can have sex, but does that mean y'all should have had sex? I don't know, because it clearly just confused things, and it just got them off to a rocky start. And we already know Chris's character, and now she's seeing it too. But it's just like, if her friends would have prepped her, and with the doubts that she was already having, you know, maybe she would have thought twice a little bit. But it's neither here nor there. Then Paige at the end is like, yeah, we got to work on our communication, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you know, I'm glad that you were open and honest. Well, I don't know if she said honest, but she was like, I'm glad that you were, you know, open with me. You could have been letting it, like, eat you up inside. That's essentially what he did, though. Like, you had to be the one to be like, where are you? Like, he let a whole panic attack happen before he talked to you. And then later she was the one who went up to him and was like, why are you crying? So I'm like, the communication is not there. Like, you patted him on the back for minimal effort, and this is not the type of validation that Chris needs, because Chris is already too big-headed and thinks he's a catch and all of that. All right, so those are all of our couples. You know, we'll see next week how the honeymoon plays out, and I think that will give us, you know, the insight that we need to see if these couples are really, like, you know, really matched well, like with their values and their core, you know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, comment steak and eggs in the comments to let me know you made it. Like this video, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Dolce & Gabbana. Yeah, say she look into my eyes and she see